Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. Our guests today are from the Nebraska State Patrol. Trooper Chuck Elley, our usual guest here from the State Patrol, is here, and we're always glad to see Chuck. Always glad to have great conversations with you, Chuck. That's for sure.
That goes likewise.
All right. And he brought in Nick Goodwin, who will be actually taking Chuck's place on the show here after the first of the year. Nick will be the new Patrol Information Officer. So we're going to give Nick his first shot at being on the air, and that's good. So we're going to talk about winter driving today. And Chuck, I guess first thing, let's, when the weather gets cold, and we saw it just with a little bit of snow we had just recently, we had a lot of little slide-offs and fender benders and stuff. People just kind of forget what to do when it snows, right?
Oh, boy, they do. It's always a learning curve for everyone. And I tell you what, the number one cause of crashes in the wintertime for motor vehicles is speed and people driving too fast for conditions. So, man, the roads get slick. You can see they're starting to get wet, any of those kind of things. Number one, slow down. You need to slow way down, and because that is the number one cause of car crashes, and particularly in the wintertime.
All right. Any other tips? They have to maybe put winter tires on if they.
Yeah, you want to check your vehicle over. Make sure it's in good working order. Make sure you have plenty of tread depth. Check your windshield wipers. Make sure they are working properly. They're not hard and cracked, and they clean off your windshield well. Just make sure you take your vehicle and to your mechanic and make sure it's in good working order. That's the smartest thing for everyone to do.
Make sure you have an ice scraper in the car.
Ice scraper, and you know what, folks? You bring up a big point there. We see this a lot where, and I'll leave it alone. But anyways, we see this a lot where people, there's frost or ice on the windshield, and they just scrape off just a small enough hole for them to see out. They don't clean off the side windows. And folks, you got to remember, can we stop you for that? Absolutely, that's a view obstruction. So make sure that you have. Allow plenty of time to clean your windshield off completely. The windshield and your side windows and the rear window. That's another very smart thing to do.
All right. So and also if you are kind of warming up the car in order to get that done and maybe clear off some of that ice on the windshield, make sure the car is maybe locked while you're doing that. Because
yes.
Sometimes
valid point, so someone doesn't take off with your car.
Yeah,
you're leaving. That's a great point because, make sure the vehicle is locked, and have your other set of keys, of course.
Yes.
Don't leave a running vehicle just out in the driveway or in the street running with, with the doors unlocked, or someone could come by and take it.
All right. Also, winter driving, maybe look at the situation where if you're going to make a long trip. Maybe and you're supposed to go from one destination to another. Tell folks the route that you're using in case something happens.
You bet. That we see that. We have those calls come in. Someone's overdue, and they'll call in the office and have you seen this vehicle? Okay, the first question we're going to ask, what route of travel they're taking, and they don't know. Well, that sure helps us in trying to locate somebody, an overdue party. So let people know. Let wherever you're going, let people know your route of travel. The other thing you're going to want to do is before you even leave, you check the weather and road reports. I can't tell you enough. You can contact or call 511, and you get the weather and road report. The other thing I know I like to do is go on the Nebraska Department of Roads website. They have webcams. You can see the current updates. You can see pictures and stuff of the roads and how they look. But also it'll give you a chart to show you the roads across the state of Nebraska and what kind of condition they're in. And all of that, but that'll lead you to other states if you're going to Colorado or whatever the case may be. Very smart thing to do and a good thing to do for all of us.
All right. I got the feeling you were thinking that I sometimes once in a while drive around with that little hole in the windshield.
Yeah, but that's it.
Early in the morning, 5 o'clock, trying to get the ice off. Yeah.
I've never seen you do it, but I've heard you talk about it. So.
Yeah. I've done it once or twice, I can tell you. All right, which is not good. So we'll let Nick get in here and talk about getting a winter survival kit in your car right after this. All right, coming back in 3, 2, 1. Back on News Extra this morning, we have Trooper Chuck Elley in here along with Nick Goodwin, who is going to take Chuck's place as the information officer for the Nebraska State Patrol after the first of the year. And Nick, we're going to give you your first duty here on the show. Why don't you tell us about, one of the things we were talking about with winter driving conditions is you really need to have a winter survival kit in your vehicle in case you get stranded.
You do.
What type of things do you need to have in that kit?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, an ice scraper is good to have. You're going to want, along with your ice scraper, some heavy blankets, additional clothing, a first aid kit, candles, matches, anything. It's good to be over-prepared. Make sure you really load it up with stuff that you may need.
Yeah. Food, what type of food?
Non-perishable food is a good idea. It's a good idea to have that. Fuses, a flashlight.
Maybe some water, make sure you've got some water in the vehicle.
Some
probably
water in the
shouldn't
vehicle,
go
yes.
anywhere without at least some form of liquid in the vehicle if you're
Right.
taking a trip, right?
Right, that's correct.
As long as it's not alcohol.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Water, and non-perishable
water.
food. Extra socks,
Okay.
all
right.
kinds of things that you would need.
So not spirited water.
Yeah, there you go.
water.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned fuses and flares and that type of thing.
Fuses, flares, flashlights.
Are
yes.
those flares and that type of thing usually in kits if you buy them at the store or whatever? Or do
Some
usually have
kits
to
you may be able to find that. You may have to do a little extra searching for those additional items.
Yeah.
And just get yourself a bag and put that all in your bag, have it in the trunk of your vehicle,
All right.
and you'd be prepared.
All right. If you do get stuck, what is the thing to do? Do you stay in your car? Do you walk? What do you
It'd be a
do?
good idea to stay in your car, activate your four-way flashers, make sure that you are warm. If you do have a cell phone, you can contact the Nebraska State Patrol by dialing *55 to seek additional help.
All right, guys. Chuck Elley, Nick Goodwin, thanks, guys, for
Thank you.
coming in.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate everything KNEB does and helps us out. Appreciate
You bet.
it. All right.